Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this episode number 139 of the Good Morning Guys podcast, thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and to play. I'm one of your four hosts, the Brazilian Amish mountaineer and prodigal transition ninja, coming at you in 4G, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the judge, jury, and executioner of fake news, spoilers, and character customization on sports games, Patrick Novosel.
And you are a true ninja because I cannot see you.
I know, right?
Been
I am
listening.
invisible. On his left and my right, the volleyball beast of the East who can make you laugh in 3 words or less, or he'll finally buy a PlayStation, even though he absolutely has no reason to do it anymore. Ronnie Johantis.
Hi, and yeah, it's over. It's over for that.
It is. I'm
The
very
ship has
sad.
sailed. It is out of the
Yep.
port. It's gone.
Yeah. And the final member of the GMG Quadfecta, who shall never be forgotten, who's got music in his heart, Doctor Who on his brain, La Coretta in his old stomacho, and a one of a dozen Battle Royale games in his hands at all times during the month of May, Marc Boucher.
I'm glad I will never be forgotten. Also, joiners watching on YouTube right now, Lucas is
How do
a
you like
master. He is a master ventriloquist
I
because
am.
he is not moving his mouth at all.
That's right.
Or his face.
Just call him Jeff Dunham.
I won't even blink right now. Oh my gosh. You're scaring me.
What? Is that what Jeff Dunham does? I don't know.
With one of his puppets. I think it's
Or is
Peanut.
that what you? Or is
It's
that
Peanut.
Is that
I
what you
think
do?
that's Mark's new laugh.
Yes.
I hope so.
That was quite funny, Lucas.
Oh my. Okay, I
All right,
vetoed
Mark.
that laugh. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I will stop now.
Thank you. Ooh, all right, gents. It is so good to see you, even though you can't see me. I'm so glad to be back. This has like been the longest 2 weeks of my life. I think I just missed 1 week, and I feel like I missed a month of hanging out with you guys.
It's been a
I
long.
don't
week.
like that we can't see you.
I know, right?
It's a
really
weird thing.
Well,
Yeah, it's like
it
that.
is
It's kind of
very
you're kind of
weird.
like lording over us now
What are
that you
you
can see
doing
us.
over there?
Always watching. All right, guys.
No,
Let's go ahead.
Let's start off with you, man. What is
all right.
going on with you?
What's new with me? Man, there's a whole heck of a lot new with me. I think I'm going to actually go against the grain here and go with gaming to start out. Surprisingly,
Okay.
even though I have no internet, which is why it's just my picture, I'm using my phone right now. It's sitting in my windowsill of my new house where I just moved because that's where the 4G is the strongest. And I have it making a little hotspot to my computer, my Mac, and I got all my equipment plugged in, and I'm really just sitting in the dark right now. So it's probably a good thing that that picture's there because
Do you have, like,
I look
your-
way
do you-
better.
Do you have like
Yeah.
your blanket over your head? You're in the dark.
Don't. I don't.
I love how you already know where you have the best reception in the new house.
Oh, I've found it real quick since the internet
Circled
has
it.
been delayed by a week or so and still going to be delayed by another week.
Your
I've
wife's
been
like,
finding-
honey, help me with this couch. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I gotta
Nope.
figure out where the best spot is.
Yeah, move it to the right, a little more. Wait, too far. Go back.
Where's the tinfoil? Need that.
Yeah, got to put that on my head, of course.
Where's the tinfoil?
But yeah, so I've definitely been sad that I haven't been able to do any multiplayer gaming. No Rocket Leaguing with my boys, no Diablo with Chris, no Apex with Mark. I mean, man, I've missed it a bunch, so much.
Don't
do you-
think I didn't miss that.
What do you do now?
So pretty much what I've been playing is one of the games that you like, Ronnie, Enter the Gungeon. And it's pretty official that I'm no good at Enter the Gungeon.
That took a turn I was not
Yeah.
expecting.
Yeah, I'm still going. I really like it, but I have not gotten out of the second chamber. Like I've consistently died. I've gotten to the beholster 2, maybe 3 times, and I've gotten him down to like maybe like an inch of life, and then he killed me. I got really good at dodging that laser beam, like you gave me suggestions last time.
Yeah,
Ronnie?
you just keep rolling through it.
You just keep rolling through it, but I just couldn't keep up. I eventually he whittled me down to nothing, and I died right at the last second.
It really is. I mean, a lot of it's luck too. If you get a really good gun. like going into him like it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, my favorite, I have two, well, actually, there's two things that I've gotten in my last run or the last two runs that I really liked. One was I got a permanent upgrade to just shoot faster, and I felt like that was like a pity upgrade. Like they were just like, man, you're bad. You need this more than we do. So there's that. And then there's like a spinal column AK-47. It's like, I like that.
All of them
a
are
lot.
like linked together when it fires.
Yeah, and it links together and just tears up groups of enemies.
Wait till you start unlocking guns. There's my favorite gun probably is the beehive. And it's literally just a beehive that you carry around, and when you hit the trigger, bees just fly out of it, and then they home into whatever enemy.
I'm all about that. I'll definitely check it out.
During the boss fight, the beehive is like the best gun to have because all you have to do is worry about dodging. And
you just shoot blindly.
The whole time.
Yeah.
The
one dodging is the hardest of
it is game. Getting the timing, because you're only invincible for half the dodge, and I'm used to dead cells where you're invincible during the entire dodge until you stop your momentum, and then you can get hit with Enter the Gungeon. It's only half of the dodge, so that's kind of hard to adjust to. The weirdest gun I've gotten is probably the tea kettle. Just toss hearts, like you shoot hearts at enemies, and then I like the reload where it like boils and you have like this circle of damage around you.
Yeah, that's sweet.
It took me a little while to get used to it, but
it's not an awesome gun, really.
No, it's not. It's the weirdest gun that I've gotten though.
Really, what you want is like a shotgun.
Yeah, all about that shotgun life.
I think the weirdest gun is your gun is a bullet and you're shooting guns.
Oh man, I haven't gotten that
yet.
Are
shooting
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's just a bullet, and you shoot out like pistols that are firing and turning, like spinning.
That sounds like
creates a disaster.
That reminds. Have you guys played what is that called with the pig face? Hotline Miami, where you can throw guns at people when you're running around.
I have played it very briefly.
Anyone?
No.
Yeah.
Well,
very briefly.
In that game, you can throw your weapons. Like regardless of how you use the weapons, you can just throw your weapons and it'll knock someone out. And
you pick it back up.
I'm pretty sure there's a way to throw your gun in Gungeon, actually.
Oh, I think I've only seen to drop it. I haven't seen to throw it. But the other thing I've done in Enter the Gungeon is I discovered the oubliette. I don't really know how to pronounce it because it's just written. But where you in the first level you can use a water barrel to put out a fire, and then you click a switch, and then you have to use 2 keys to go through a trap door.
Yeah.
That's really hard, but I've gotten addicted to going through it, and I don't even know if it's worth it.
I actually learned that I didn't realize up until recently that every level, every single time there's the fireplace, which I think is every level, or was it level 1? There's a water barrel somewhere on the level all the time.
You just got to find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it took me so long to figure out how to stop the water barrel. Like I would shove it and then it'd roll and I'd be like, no, stop. And then I'd try to run around. It was really, I looked really stupid. It was good times. And then the last thing I discovered was the target shooting game. I only did it once and I was terrible at it. I hit one target. That game. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do it again. Besides that, I played Nex Machina, which is pretty much one of House Mark's newest games, not the newest game. Returnal's the newest. But I don't have PS5, so no Returnal for me. And which really, that's what got me going on Enter the Gungeon, Nex Machina, and those kind of games was watching a Returnal trailer, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to play something like it. So Nex Machina is pretty much Resogun and the Nation games, isometric, or even Diablo, Ronnie, as you would recognize, kind of a top-down shooting game that's just really fun. I got to the 3rd area, I think, after 2 or 3 times. But it was good times. And then the last thing I did was Rocket League, of course. I played offline and I played duels. And all I could think about was how I wish I had an internet connection and I could be playing Gridiron. Yeah, Gridiron's back? Come on.
Yeah, Gridiron I actually did not know Gridiron was back.
I have no internet and I can't play Gridiron.
How long is Gridiron back?
Darkness, my old friend.
Pretty much. That's what I've been singing.
It'll probably be back for at least a month.
Is it a month?
At a minimum, I would think it would be a month.
Let's double check.
Yes.
Mark fact.
Mark fact time. I'm going to play the bejangles out of that if it's still there when I get internet. I mean, At this point, I was supposed to have internet last Thursday, and it's now Monday. And today they wrote me and said, "Hey, we have a business problem." That's what they called it, quote unquote, a business problem. And we cannot even schedule your appointment to install your internet until after Friday.
What kind of problem again?
It's just a business problem.
A business problem.
Problema da empresa. That's what they said. I was like, what does that even mean?
Some sort of internal dispute of some kind? Like a
all
strike?
Employees are fighting each other right now?
Yeah, insurrection. Like someone's
a mutiny.
The mutiny there. We have a new CEO making his way to the top. Yeah, so I don't know. It's really sad.
There's
but I have
no
other
rules
options.
there, is there?
There are no
Apparently
rules.
no rules in Brazil.
They can make up any excuse.
Yeah, they can, and they pretty much have. I have one guy that I've talked to this whole time, and he's just like, yeah, so the rotary girder, it just broke, and we can't
He'd be like, dude, I invented the rotary girder.
Yeah,
I know you're giving me
I know how it girds.
You give me the run around here, dude.
Don't you tell me.
For thee. So I'm about to make you very sad, and I'm sorry, Lucas.
It's going to be gone by the time
it's gone already.
It's gone today.
No!
This is so dumb.
You know what? I could have gone without that. So thanks. I appreciate you breaking my heart live for everyone to hear.
Well, listen.
Yeah, this
it's
is
better
worse.
than
We can't even see his broken face right now.
It's better than you having this huge hope for several days, and then you finally arrive, and it's gone.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger there, Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas.
I'm not shooting anyone. Okay, just calm down.
You and your gun.
Yeah, my gun. I'm gonna get my teapot gun out and start boiling your face.
Shoot hearts at Mark.
Shoot hearts at his face.
Not bees.
By the time I have internet, it's gonna be back permanently.
Rocket League
That's
2
my
will be
hope.
out.
Yeah, Rocket League 2. Woo, let's go. Gridiron's a permanent mode. But yeah, that's the gaming I've done. I've played all offline. Nothing crazy. Just a little bit to still feel like I'm a gamer. So it's been fun.
Good.
Yeah, and then the rest of my update, I'm gonna save it because we got a fun topic for you guys later. So why don't we just jump to Ronnie? Have you been doing any gaming, my friend? What's been going on with you, buddy?
Well, funny you should ask that after your update. I told Patrick when I first got on here, he was playing the show, and I could hear him. It's like, I haven't played that since we talked about it. I had like all the fire and everything like about it.
It's gone.
And I haven't played it. And the problem is there's been a resurgence of Enter the Gungeon.
Serious?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I've been playing it for like a week again. I actually think like I'm pretty much done with it now, but like just I don't know, kind of caught wind for a week. And my first solo run back was I actually made it to the dragon in the fifth level and died. And that was the furthest I've actually made it since I started playing again. Then me and my buddy were playing last night, I think, actually, or the night before. No, it was the last night. We were playing together, and we actually made it and beat the dragon last night.
Nice. Well done.
It was pretty awesome. Once you beat the game, it like gives you you unlock basically like vendors throughout the game, and once you like two vendors that you unlock, like one of them you can turn on what's called like a rainbow run where you only accept rainbow chests. So what they do is as soon as you exit the elevator in the first game, there's a big rainbow chest right there, and you open it and like 8 items, like 4 guns and 4 like just regular items come out, and you get to pick one. And you get one of those every level, but you don't get chests. So like regular chests, you can't open throughout the rest of the game, but you get to pick, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, get options.
And then there's one other person you can unlock that gives you a blessing. And what happens is you then become blessed by the gun, and your gun is constantly changing like throughout the whole time to just random guns.
Interesting.
That sounds fun.
It's pretty awesome, actually. It's fun to like go through all the guns and you don't have to worry about ammo, which is the best thing ever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we made it. We beat the dragon, And yeah, I think that probably like wraps it up for me and Enter the Gungeon. So now I'll probably get back into some more MLB The Show.
There you go.
I did not know there was Gridiron like probably all weekend where I would have played some of that, but but yeah.
I would have told you, Ronnie, but I wasn't playing, so I wasn't talking to anyone else about it. So sorry.
That's fair.
My bad.
Outside of gaming, it's been a pretty mellow week. I started back. Elizabeth and I started up doubles volleyball again.
Nice.
We got in the league and played. We won, but it was because like the two people we played, like it's like their first time playing doubles, and but we're gonna get probably beat pretty bad. There's some pretty good teams, and I realized like I am so out of shape after this whole COVID thing. Like, oh my gosh, has it gotten horrible? Like I used to be able to play 2 or 3 volleyball matches like in a night and have no real issues. But now I'm like, I play a couple, like I feel like I've been beat up the next morning. Like I can not walk, like I'm limping and everything. Like it's the worst. Like what happened? It's only 1 year.
I know that feeling a little bit. I'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, that's the worst part, I think, about getting older is when you do actually like do active things, you are so sore. Like you just cannot recover from it for days. And that's where I am. So, but no, that's pretty much it for me. I don't really think I did anything at all. I renewed my plates on my Jeep. So that was
being responsible.
That was my adult thing that I did. But outside of that, man, I didn't do anything. Well, Patrick, what do you got?
Yeah. For me this past week, it's been pretty big on the job front. So for the last 2 plus months, getting my team, my department ready to go live with our customer service calls. And we went live last Monday, and it went without a hitch. Nice. We had a couple like things that like we weren't expecting, but it didn't stop us from doing our job. So it was just like an added benefit to updating those things. So we're taking on 2 separate divisions of the 35 divisions within the company. We took on the first division last week. It went really, really well. And then we went live with the second division today, and it went really, really well. So team was prepared for pretty much anything that was thrown at them. And I feel like if I wasn't there, I feel like they could run the department without me there. So that's how well they're doing. And, my team lead is Eric, which is Bengal Man 09.
Nice.
And he's doing a really, really good job, really helping me out. And so, yeah, big, huge, thanks to him for making sure that the team was ready, because there was times where I wasn't available. And he kind of took over like seamlessly. So it's been really, really nice to have him aboard.
So when he took over, did he like pretend to be you? He's like, "Hey guys, this is Patrick Novsal. Can I help you out or something?"
I don't know if you've seen him. We look nothing alike. So
I mean,
fun fact.
He could try. He could try real hard. It might work out. I didn't know if it was video or just like if it was over like audio, like we're doing right now.
Real hard and turn your head to the side.
Yep, that's Patrick.
So yeah, it's been really nice. And then the head of the whole operations area took us out to the Reds game on Friday night. So we got some really nice seats. They're like $100 seats, and we had 6 of them. So some nice food and drinks. So it was a nice way to cap the end of the first week.
There you go.
Yeah, it was really nice team building and things like that. So yeah, things are going really, really well on the job front. On the gaming front for me, I've been playing MLB The Show exclusively. This game, there's a mode called Road to the Show, and this is where you create your player, and you take them on to the minor leagues and to the major leagues. So I'm a right fielder, and I was in 2022. So the first year I was in the minors. The second year in 2022, I was in the majors. I played very sparingly the first half of the year. and then the player in front of me got traded, so I got the starting position. So I played about 100 games in the second season. And when I say 100 games, it's like 3 to 4 at bats, and that's the only thing I do. As I swing at the first pitch, and if it's in play, then that's the end of that at bat. So I can go through a game in like 2 minutes. And with the Xbox Series S, the loading is super fast, so I can get right back into another game if I don't sit out that game within like 30 seconds. So the games moved very, very quickly, and got to the point at the end of the year. I was leading the league in home runs. I was leading the league in RBIs, not batting average. And so we get to the playoffs, and I'm on the Reds, and we won like 109 games in the season. Like winning 100 games is like the peak. Once you win 100 games, that means your team is probably going to go to the World Series. So 109 games. I am the starting right fielder. We're playing the Braves in the first round of the playoffs, and we sweep the Braves. I'm like, yes, we're going to the championship series. And I go to the loading screen. It goes back to the main menu for me to start the next game, and a menu pops up and says, "You've been removed from the postseason roster." What? And I'm like, what is this game? Like, seriously? So I'm like, well, I can't do anything about it because I'm not the manager or the owner. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll have to simulate the rest of the year. And we lose to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers end up winning the World Series. So I'm mad. I wanted to throw my controller because I couldn't be a part of the whole thing. So I go to the next year, and they don't bring me up to the majors. They keep me in AAA.
What did you do?
And I was like, what in the heck? Like, I lead the league in home runs and RBIs. And I was just like, I don't know why am I being demoted? And so I go to AAA, and I'm like, I'm so mad. I'm like, I'm not playing any of these games. I'm just going to simulate the entire year and see what happens. I led the league in the average, home runs, and RBIs. Basically, that's a triple crown, and what they call that. And we go to the playoffs, and once we got to the playoffs, I was like, okay, maybe I'll play this. And we end up winning the whole thing in AAA. So the end of the season.
What's that called, by the way? Is it just the championship?
It's a AAA national championship. That's what they call it.
All right.
So at the end of the offseason happens, and they want to offer me a contract. I don't know if you know anything about baseball and the types of contracts they get, but people get a lot of money in baseball. They offered me 1 year for $58,000.
What?
And I was like, that's kind of how much I make now. Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't even leave my job for that.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I wanted to throw my controller again. I was like, no. And you get the option to select how much you want to be offered or what you're going to counter offer. I counter offered for $11 million a year for 7 years.
Nice.
I was like, no way. And so they're like, the option that comes back, they're like, hey, we're on the opposite sides of this. You need to come back with more realistic. And I was like, okay.
Excuse me, that is more realistic.
So I thought about it, and I answered the same thing: 11 mil, 7 years. And they're like, well, this is our final offer. We're gonna give you $2 million a year for 3 years. And I was like, that's more like it. Give me some money. 58,000. They came up from 58 to 2 million. Like, seriously, like they got the money for it.
You drive a hard bargain, sir.
Yeah. So I was and so I'm in spring training right now, and I'm a pinch hitter. I'm a pinch hitter, and I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to play this game, but I'll probably play it until probably next Friday when Mass Effect comes out.
But the rest of your life.
Man.
This game is so fun. Just playing the road to the show.
Is it? It doesn't sound like it. Like, you got the shaft.
It's awful. So I'm like, well, I'm like 21 years old in this game. I came into the league at 19. I'm 21 years old now. A lot of players don't come into the league until like 22 or 23, maybe 24. Having a 19-year-old player in the majors is rare nowadays. They're usually in the farm system for a while. I mean, like, you don't have like a Ken Griffey Jr. or a Alex Rodriguez or a Mike Trout where they're like 19, 20 years old and they're making an impact. You don't have those players. Those are like, you can count them on your hand of how many times players have come up at 19 and made an impact immediately. So with that in mind, I'm still going to kind of tough it out a little bit.
So you got to really put in the time, and it sounds like they made it kind of realistic. That sounds like you got to devote some time to it to get yourself up there.
Yeah, and there's like little RPG elements to it because you start at like 56 overall, and to get better, you have to do like some mini games, like you have to do bench press or some hand-eye coordination mini games or some running mini games to get your stats up.
Now, is this like Final Fantasy VII remake mini games where you're doing pull-ups and crunches? And,
yes, exactly.
Is it really? That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm in.
So it's fun. It's fun doing the outside of the game stuff. You're not playing actually in the stadium playing the game, but it's fun. So I'm having a great time. I mean, it's the first time I've played a baseball game in like 8 years. So I'm having a good time. Plus, it's like with back in like 2014, last time I played the MLB the game. I didn't like Road to the Show because it took forever to load. Like you would play a game and like 2 minutes later, you're load back into the menu, and then you get back into the game 2 minutes later. It's like it took forever to play a game. Now you're in and out in seconds. Like it's so much better to play it that way.
Mm.
But yeah, it's all I've been playing.
All right, cool.
Fair enough.
Mark.
Yes, sir.
You're up next. What's up, buddy?
Oh, just stuff. No,
Just stuff.
just stuff and things and places with people.
I get that.
That's good.
I get it.
In this day and age, that's a positive.
Yep.
With
Indeed.
people.
No, it was pretty light week for gaming. Really, I only played Apex maybe a couple times this week just to try to move the needle, get as far as I could in the Battle Pass before the new season, which, as of this recording, starts tomorrow, which I'm super excited for. And I'm also super excited for Royale Rumble that starts tomorrow night, where I will be streaming a different Battle Royale game every Tuesday and Saturday night. So this week will be, of course, the Season 9 opener for Apex Legends tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern will be Fortnite. So I haven't played that game.
Time to build something. Let's go.
I won't be doing
building.
any building. Nope. Not for me, sir.
Not gonna do it, mama. Not gonna build it.
Wouldn't be prudent. Don't understand it. But yeah, that's an open call for anybody. I know we have several Fortnite players in our community, so that's an open call. If you want to play, jump on in. We will have tomorrow night. We'll actually have a couple of giveaways on the stream.
Ooh, hey.
Yeah. So that'll be good. But you have to tune into the stream in order to enter to win. So tomorrow night, 10 p.m. on the GMG Twitch channel. But yeah, gaming's been real light for me this week. But in the IRL side of things, this past weekend, we went to Washington D.C. with my wife's family, my in-laws, to celebrate my father-in-law's 60th birthday, which was really cool. But the awesome thing about it is they paid for all of it.
There you go.
Yeah, so can't complain about that. But
I love me some free stuff.
Yeah, especially when it's his birthday. But they wanted us to be there and celebrate, which we were happy to do.
That's the way the Germans do it.
Sure.
Free food.
No, they do. They
always taste better.
When it's your birthday, Germans, when they go out to eat somewhere, the birthday person is supposed to pay for everyone.
Interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad deal to me, but hey, that's what they do.
And
that's good.
You can squint all you want.
We don't live in Germany, then.
It's real. Yep. I know, right?
Yep. This is America.
It's a good thing we beat down them Nazis. I mean, that'd be celebrating birthdays the wrong way all over the place. but we beat the Nazis, so
it's
all
a good thing we beat them. Otherwise, it would have been anarchy because of the birthdays.
It's a
People
birthday
paying
thing would have
for
been a big
birthdays.
issue.
On their birthday, dogs and cats living together.
Total chaos.
But yeah, so we had a wonderful weekend in DC. Had some really nice weather. We were there from Friday to Sunday. Spent the first night. We went to this nice Cuban restaurant in the area, which the food was amazing.
What kind of food is in a Cuban restaurant?
Everything's in a cube, the shape of a cube.
Everything's a cigar.
I'd like my soup cube.
It's like Minecraft in there.
It's like Minecraft. It is.
That's a Minecraft.
That's perfect.
I'd go there.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's Cuban specialties. Like my wife it was a Cuban sandwich which had like several different types of meats. I
have no idea what you're talking about right
Like a Reuben?
I was at a Cuban restaurant, Cuban sandwich, and it had meat. All right.
Well, it had, I don't remember the names of the
Capicola.
meats, but like, yeah, that kind of stuff. Stuff that you
Save
typically
it,
expect on
Patrick.
like Italian type stuff. But
well, it's Cuban or Italian?
Yeah. What kind of mishmash is this?
Combo. It's one of those KFC Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Or whatever they are.
We got Cuban, we got Italian food.
It's Cuban.
Got a little
it's Cuban
sushi
Italian.
here too, just like the Germans used to eat.
I don't know. It sounds like a melting
Back in
pot of
World War II.
goodness. it got something
This
for
was
everyone.
in Germany. Got it.
No, but I had it was a particular type of chicken that was like drizzled in some sort of sauce. Don't ask me. I'm not
It was
Cuban.
yeah. I
All
mean,
I
it was
know-
probably Cuban chicken with Cuban sauce.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll go
Made
with
by
that.
Cubans.
They know about it. I don't. All I know is it tastes good.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
And the chicken was huge. Like this was like
Cuban
medieval
sized.
times. Yes. Yes.
Cuban huge.
No, it looked like one of those medieval times, like
Cuban.
you where you're eating it like straight off the bone. Like
Oh,
like a
that's
big
great.
leg.
That's awesome.
It was
yeah.
that size.
Dang.
And it was with
Like a mega chicken then.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, they literally like killed the chicken, fried it up real quick, and just threw it on the plate. The whole
You
chicken.
know what? I want a whole chicken Cuban style.
Sounds like
please.
they had to kill him if he was that big, stop him from destroying the whole town.
I'd like to eat this one live, please. Can you not kill it? Thank you.
Ugh.
But no, food was great there. Saturday, we basically did a whole lot of walking around.
Oh man.
Around the
Yeah.
National Mall. I thought my feet were gonna fall off.
Mm.
They were hurting so bad. But we had a good time just walking around the National Mall, checking
Just
out
tearing
all
our
the
bodies
monuments.
apart.
Yes.
Yep.
Checking out all the monuments and stuff. Saw the Washington Monument and.
Did you see Spider-Man?
They had fixed the window after he
Oh,
broke
cool.
through it.
In
Thankfully.
the elevator, maybe?
I hope the elevator's fixed. They did some
Okay.
renovations, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was joking.
It was like 5 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'd hope they would have fixed it by now.
I don't know. The government's slow.
It's the
so-
government.
Yeah.
True.
They probably have a 900-page bill to fix it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Needs a 2/3 majority vote. No, we went to the different monuments and checked out everything. We had to go to mainly like outdoor type stuff because in DC all the Smithsonian stuff is still closed, but they're doing staggered openings for all their museums, which the Smithsonian does a lot of the museums, not all of them, but a lot of them in that area. They're kind of doing a staggered opening. I think the first one opens up on May 5th, and then several open on the 14th. So unfortunately, we missed those, but there's a lot of outdoor stuff we could do, and there were some non-Smithsonian places we could go. But yeah, we were so tired after walking the National Mall. And in the afternoon, we were supposed to go to the Museum of the Bible, and we were just so tired that we just went back to the hotel and took a nap. Which
Wow.
the hotel.
Skipped the Bible Museum.
Lucas, here comes Lucas with a shame.
You call yourself a pastor.
Hold up.
I love you, Mark.
Not done.
I love you, Mark.
You guys want to go to the Bible Museum? Nah.
Nah, too tired.
Have you
God
seen
took care of that
Have
already.
you looked at your watch yet? It's nap time.
Well,
Yeah.
well, Pastor Lucas, you'll be
Yes.
happy to know that we went to the Museum of the Bible on the Lord's Day.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah. So, but
Good for
we
you.
just switched that around, and just did it on Sunday. But yeah, we took a nap, which the hotel that we stayed at was the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Washington D.C. It's actually, if you've read the news within the past few months, if you saw anything about the National Guard having to be called in after the insurrection at the Capitol and all of that, and there was this whole thing that they actually had the National Guard staying in a parking garage, and people were
I heard about that.
People were like really upset. I mean, obviously, be upset about that. Why would you do that?
Oh, they were there for hours,
Yeah.
just laying in the parking lot.
Yep.
Like they didn't have food, they didn't have anything to sit on. They were like laying in parking spots,
Yep.
like just hanging out.
Wait, the National Guard was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And this is where?
in D.C. In
Our nation's capital.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? That doesn't seem right.
No, it's not. You're right. So obviously there was enough outcry there that they fixed that, and so they've had them staying in the Grand Hyatt Hotel. And so,
Yeah, actually, I read that story, and they used the budget for them. They used it on fixing Spider-Man's damage he did to the elevator and the George Washington Monument.
Yep.
So
That
Like,
it happens.
you guys signed for this. Sorry.
Yeah, you voted those people in.
Sorry.
That's what they did.
I don't understand. It's like they were in there, and then not until there was an outcry that they fixed it.
yeah, that's
Correct.
kind of stupid, but here we are.
But here we are.
But yeah, they fixed it, and so all those guys were still actually staying at the Grand Hyatt. I didn't know the National Guard was still there, but yeah, they've been keeping them there, watching over the area. So we saw a bunch of National Guard people lining up in formation and stuff like that, and so that was cool. The hotel was super nice. We stayed on the 12th floor, the very top floor. And we had a view that was kind of looking out into like the main atrium. It's one of those type of hotels that it's kind of like you see the hotel rooms kind of circled around, like all the windows are like overlooking one main huge area. And so it was nice to be able to look out there. But
Yeah, it's cool.
Everything was beautiful in the hotel. But yeah, then we had dinner in the evening. We actually they recently put a cheesecake factory in there in DC, so that was pretty new. So we went over there and had some nice dinner there and cheesecake, which fantastic. But yeah, Sunday we mainly went to the Museum of the Bible, which unfortunately we didn't get to see all of it. We saw the first couple floors, but we had my brother and sister-in-law had their son, had my nephew with them, and you know little babies, they have a certain amount of time, and it's like, nope, we need to go ahead and hightail it, get him food or something like that. So there's only a certain amount of time before he starts going crazy.
I'm the same exact way.
That's fair.
Elizabeth has learned to bring snacks everywhere they go, and here you go. Here's a little cracker.
But yeah.
Goldfish.
So we did enjoy what we did see. With the first couple of floors, I think the first floor was
Genesis.
No,
No, they didn't go by books of the Bible.
No.
Second floor, Exodus. Third floor.
no. It was more
Leviticus,
a
no.
themed floor on like the history of the Bible in America and its influence on American culture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so they had lots of old Bibles from like the 1600s in there, and old manuscripts, and they actually had one thing that was really super interesting to me was they had the original manuscript of Lincoln's second inaugural address in
Nice.
there, which makes a lot of scripture references throughout his speech. So that's why they had it. They kind of had it themed that way, like this is all the things that make references to scripture verses, and they had that. They actually had a section in there for, if you've ever heard of the website I Am Second, where people a lot of times tell their testimonies of how God has worked in their life and has changed their lives, and so they had the original chair that they used for those videos on display in there, and then you could actually make your own sort of I am second video, where you could record a quick testimony, which was cool. And then the second floor was basically a recreation, somewhat, of the town of Nazareth and what life was like for Jesus living in Nazareth, and all the different types of oil lamps and different things that they would do, like olive pressing and things like that, where they'd get the oil for that, for obviously for food, and for obviously lighting lamps and things like that. And there's a guy in there sort of dressed appropriately for the times. It was kind of giving some educational background and things like that. So it was really interesting. But yeah, those were the only floors we saw, and then we kind of had to book it out of there. But so it was a fun weekend. It was very much an enjoyable weekend. It's nice to get out of town and enjoy some of our historical sites of our nation's capital. So, but yeah, that is it for me.
Nice. Man, I remember going to DC. It felt like every other year with my family. And I remember that first time that we did those walks, and man, you can really kill yourself walking through DC, taking the subway system, the metro, right?
Yep, DC Metro.
That's what it's called. The DC Metro, which was a magical thing to me, being a little, kid from whippersnapper from West Virginia. What are these metros? What does this do? This underground train? It's amazing. Yeah, it was really cool, and that was like one of my favorite vacation spots when I was a kid. I was a bit of a dork, I guess. I liked Smithsonian. I liked the museums. Going to those places was really fun, and yeah, seeing history just alive in front of you was fantastic.
Yeah.
What else is alive in front of me right now is about 1 million mosquitoes. So I have moved, and I am living about half a mile, I think, maybe a little less, like a quarter of a mile away from a reservoir, and a man-made reservoir. We're like in a little peninsula. As I had mentioned in past episodes, we moved houses to a place that is like kind of like paradise. Like, it's got fruit trees, a yard. It's got all kinds of nature, one of which are mosquitoes. And let me tell you, they've tried to pick up my children a couple times. They are flipping huge.
They work together.
Mosquitoes. They work together.
A baseball bat trying to drop.
They do. Yeah, they do not fool around. And the literal like transition we've had to make in kind of being aware of what we leave outside or put outside has been tough. Like, it's been a change that has been hard to adjust to.
Now, I'm just imagining this, just like you can't even see through this swarm. Like, it's the nighttime at your house all the time because there's so many mosquitoes.
I mean, it's not quite that many, but there have been times where, like, for example, when we first came, we try to position all our major appliances and major furniture where it's supposed to go. And so we put our washer and dryer in the corner of the laundry area, which it fit perfectly. And we weren't sure it was going to all fit the way it did. Like, even our dishwasher fit in a spot that we didn't think it would. And so we placed all that stuff. And by the end of the first day, I grabbed some of the rags and some of the things we'd use to clean or do different things, put it inside, and I forgot to close the lid. Well, a couple days later, I was like, we weren't able to run the dishwasher. We weren't able to run the washer and dryer. But a couple days later, we're like, okay, we got to make some progress with this because our dirty clothes are already starting to pile up. And I go over there and I was like, oh no, I left the lid off. And I look inside, and I kid you not, there were easily 100 mosquitoes inside of the washing machine.
That is gross.
It is the grossest thing I've ever seen. And it got worse because So one of our weapons of choice for dealing with mosquitoes here is an electric racket. It looks like a tennis racket,
I've
except
seen
it's
those.
got a layer of electric just wiring, and whatever you pass through it, and whatever passes through it gets electrocuted, and it makes a very satisfying popping sound. I use that to poke the inside of the washing machine, and that's when the eclipse-sized put out the sun cloud of mosquitoes came out of it. I almost vomited.
They were all alive in there still?
They were all alive, and they came flying out. And
Did you just cover the opening with the racket?
Pretty much. And
yeah.
I covered it. I waved it back and forth, and it was just like dot 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 dot. Like they were, but I couldn't kill them all. Like
it was a massacre.
It was a massacre. It was like The Mummy, where you watch the movie, the old movie, The Mummy, where all those bugs come out of his mouth. It was like that.
Oh,
it was gross.
That is so bad.
And so over the last few days, the last week, like I've slowly been able to get the outside under control. I have killed hundreds upon hundreds of mosquitoes.
You just have like a fire fence like around your house.
That's what we're going to get to. We're not quite there yet, but like what's weird, the first week we just had these normal mosquitoes, like these little pin-sized mosquitoes that didn't really attack us. Like a few would come in the house, but they were really stupid. They wouldn't attack us, so we'd kill them. Well, for whatever reason,
smart ones?
Well, the smart ones came out today. Like my daughter went out to play, and I walked out later to take some stuff to our shed, and one attacked me, and it was chasing me. Like it wanted my blood. Like it wanted to eat
they're
me.
waiting outside, like in a line to trip you guys.
Yeah. And so I was like, Natasha, did you see these big mosquitoes? She's like, yeah, I've just been waving them off. Well, later tonight after dinner, I looked over and she was scratching her leg, and she had like 7 bites in the same spot where the mosquito had just like sucked her blood, jumped over, sucked her blood again, and she didn't see the mosquito.
I feel it immediately, and I panic. I start slapping myself, like panicking.
You and me.
I'm out of there. You
and me both, my friend. You and me both. But this whole mosquito thing has brought on just like a change that I was not ready for. I don't want to downsell what, our new place. Our new place is beautiful. It's fantastic. It's like a great place for my kids to grow up, for us to live. Like the way it's all set up is great. It's just the mosquitoes are ridiculous. And that change has been hard for us to deal with. And of course, change is what we're talking about tonight. That's right, folks. We are talking about change. This topic was inspired, of course, by my big move and all the changes that I've been going through. But I did not want to suffer alone. I did not want to talk about just the negative changes. Of course, we wanted to talk about positive changes, fun changes we've experienced throughout life. So it's not going to all focus on the crazy stuff I've been going through. I want to include the other GMG fellas in it. So, excuse me, had a little hiccup there. So guys, just want to give you the opportunity. What kind of changes have you been experiencing lately, or maybe throughout your life, that you'd like to start talking about and sharing tonight? Maybe I should pick someone.
Sure, I'll go first.
Mark, you go first.
I volunteer
Mark,
as tribute.
Why don't you share with the class?
Yeah, I mean, I've been through a lot of. Everybody goes through changes in their lives, things that they don't expect, things that they do expect, but it just makes a lot of transition. And you've heard the phrase, "All good things must come to an end." And so when that kind of stuff happens, it's difficult. But you adjust and you learn and you move on through life. So thinking about some positive ones, a lot of times when you're going through like, when I graduated from high school, I mean, it was a big change for me, because, I've gone through the whole K through 12 system. I'm now starting basically a new phase of my life where I'm going to be away from home. I'm going to be doing a lot of things on my own. I don't have my parents around all the time to help me out. I'm having to put some big boy pants on. And so it was a crazy change, especially since I was moving to a place that's 13 hours away from my home. and so moving from New Hampshire to Virginia was obviously, a distance change, but just a complete culture shock because, I'm a Yankee, I'm a Northerner. And coming to this part of the country, it's in a lot of ways is just a whole different way of life. And so it was a lot of adjustment for me. It was a lot of change, but it was good change. Because it got me out of my shell in a lot of ways. Because for me, like I'm kind of introverted, which is kind of funny because being someone who's a musician who's been performing in front of people and stuff like that, you're like, how can the musician be introverted? Well, here I am. And so initial like initiating conversations and getting to know people is sometimes difficult for me.
You just went first. You're already making a good step.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of have to force myself to do that.
Well, at least you're aware of that, because that's good that you know that. So if if you want to step out of your comfort zone, you got to be intentional about it. Otherwise, You're just going to be a hermit.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that I basically say I'm an introvert with extroverted tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I've had to learn a lot of that extroverted nature, especially being in ministry.
And I think it's funny that you say that, because I see it sometimes, but there's times where you're just like on it when you're streaming, like you just like kill it. And so I don't know if that takes like a lot of energy out of like a mental exhaustion when you're doing that.
It can, and part of that was kind of a reason why I took a break from game streaming for a little bit, but I am recharged, so I'm good about that.
Glad you're back.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, just making that change, complete culture shock, complete new area, but it was good because I was experiencing such a fun, exciting new experience as college life, which obviously, my college life was a little bit different from your average secular college. We don't have like parties and things like that on campus.
No togas.
No togas. No Greek life for that matter.
Hey, you didn't take Greek language, like biblical Greek?
I did not take a biblical. I did not take.
Oh
a
man,
Greek
missing
class.
out. We had Greek parties all the time.
I'm sure you did.
Did you wear togas?
Reading the Bible in togas.
Yep, that's what we did. You called it right there. It was awesome.
No, but it's a different kind of fun for us. But I did have a great experience. I met a lot of great friends who are brothers and sisters in Christ. Who I still talk with today. Got close with a lot of people, grew in my faith, got serious about my faith, and really understood there what it meant to have a relationship with Christ while at college. And so it was an adjustment and a change, but it was ultimately a positive change. I just had to get over some of the little hurdles of making that adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a positive change. I can talk about more, but I'll let other people have the floor.
Yeah. With change, I mean, that's change is going to happen. Whether it's a small change or a big change. For me, like I am an easygoing guy. Things change. All right, well, roll with the punches, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's life is like a video game. You're gonna get something new, and then there's gonna be a patch which changes things, and that could be a small patch, or it could be a long patch that just takes forever to download. And when it does, it's gonna take. Sometimes it takes a while. Like the biggest change, I think.
Are you referring to your children right now? It's an 18-year patch.
And I was about to do that. Yes. So like the biggest change, I mean, really for me is having kids, And it is a total shift in priorities when you have kids. If you're like I want to be a positive role model and things like that, it's a change that I embrace. And before I had kids, it was just me and the wife, and we could pretty much do whatever we wanted. And then when we had kids, it was like, okay, we can't really do whatever we want anymore. We got to make sure that the kids are taken care of before we can take care of ourselves. And that's just like, it is a constant thing with them. Like today, we took a tour at my daughter's new school, and it's because she's graduating 5th grade and she's going to be going to 6th grade. She's going to middle school next year.
She made it into the honors program.
Yeah. So she was
program,
she scored really, really high in the state testing, to where she's like in the top 4% in the district. So she gets some extra. She was accepted in what they call the gifted program, where they'll have accelerated learning in math. Now I don't know about reading yet, or language arts. We don't know the scores yet for that, but for her math, she got scored really, really high. So we toured the middle school, which was kind of weird because it was the middle school that I went to. So walking through there, I mean, like, I don't know when's the last time you've walked through your elementary or middle school before, but everything felt so much smaller.
Oh yeah,
tonight. It felt like a huge place when I was back when I was 12, and now this place just looks. There's like 3 hallways. I'm like, this is how many hallways there were. Like, I don't remember this.
There were at least 11 last time I was here.
Yeah, I was like, weren't there like 40 levels here? I don't remember this. But
they patched it out. They got rid of it.
They patched it out.
All right, kids get confused too easily nowadays. Let's just make it 3.
So yeah, the for me, like, the changes aren't necessary. Like, I talked about my changes in my job for the past 6 months. If listeners out there, if you want to figure out what happened in my job, just listen to the last 6 months of podcast episodes. Yeah, the biggest change is with Claire right now, and she's going into middle school, which is like a whole nother level with like adolescence and puberty, and like she's no longer gonna be the oldest kid in the class, because that's where she is now. She's gonna be in there with 12, 13-year-old boys now, and which I am not prepared for. And that's going to be a new adjustment, a new change for me that I'm going to have to accept and embrace and figure out. Like, the kids thing is really, really big. And Lucas, you know that. You know, man. Like, with all these changes and the questions totally that they're asking, and like it's like, like this day what we thought would never come is here, and it's now. Yeah. And trying to figure all that out. But yeah, the kids, man, I love them to death. Else. I love being a father. I love being there and supporting them and everything they do, but man, it is hard.
It's real hard.
Yeah.
And our daughters are only 3 days apart, 4 days.
Yeah. The March 27th, and she's the 29th, right?
Yeah, 29th. Yeah. So 2 days apart, I guess.
Yep.
Even less. So yeah, I'm right there in the same boat with you, Patrick. That was, I would say that, I don't know, like, that was a big change, but it felt so, and I think for you, it kind of did too, but it just felt so natural,
Sure.
Kind of like you, Patrick. I'm kind of go with the flow. I feel like only as I've gotten older have I gotten more resistant to change, at least changes that I don't like changes that are like, I like the old way. I don't like this new way. And, yeah, I'm feeling it with our daughter. She's she's also going to middle school. Just the other day we were talking together, and she was like, oh, my friends, they're all like, we don't want to play games anymore. That's for little kids. We're going to be in middle school, so we have to do big kid stuff and be all grown up. And she's like, I don't want to grow up. I'm like, been there. I'm a Toys R Us kid just like you.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. You're a kid, you're like, I can't wait to grow up. And then you're an adult, you're like, I wish I was a kid.
Exactly. Yeah. Tasha's cut from the same cloth as I. I never felt that way. Like I never was like, I can't wait to be big. No, I want to be a Toys R Us kid my whole life. Now she doesn't understand what that means, and when I said that, she was very confused. She's like, "What's Toys R Us, Dad?" So
Sadness.
that was sad.
And that's when a piece of your part
Hello,
just broke.
darkness, my old friend.
Yep, there it comes back again. I've been singing that song a lot lately. Patrick, you mentioned the kid thing. Like it's part of the reason we moved into the house that we did. But man, the stuff that's come with it, like moving to the new house, I'm terrible at moves. Like I don't like packing stuff up. I don't like unpacking. I just want it all I want to blink. I want that click remote, that Adam Sandler had. And
that's a dangerous remote. You don't want to use that.
I know I don't want to use it, but I do. Like,
what about the power?
Yeah.
Like what would you in reality, what would you ever skip? Because it seems like whatever you're doing, you're always doing something at the same time. Whether you're washing dishes and listening to a podcast, whether you're doing laundry, listening to a podcast.
No, I would skip handyman stuff. Like just like, oh, get this dishwasher installed. You know what? Just blink and it's installed. Get these mosquitoes. Yeah. Oh, you know how many times I've wanted to just
part altogether.
Well, then we wouldn't have anything to talk about on the podcast if he didn't have all those mosquitoes.
I'm like, I moved in. That's it.
I don't even know if he skipped it. Wouldn't he still have the memories of it, or is that not how it works?
Nope. You don't remember it?
No memories, huh?
He could, if you remember from the movie, he could go back and watch it, and he looked like a zombie. Like he was just like a cow chewing cud, just standing there, looking like an idiot. And that's what we would look like. I mean, I don't know.
Well, if you guys ever want me to come over and be like Will Smith when your daughter brings home like her first date, like from Bad Boys, like I'll do the whole.
I totally want that.
I'll take my shirt off and everything.
We all need people like that, Ronnie.
We do. We need people like that in our lives.
Yeah, I still don't have any rules in my life, so I could. I'll put on a bunch of fake tattoos and come over shirtless.
Yeah,
I'll tell the wife like, all right, Ronnie's coming over. He has weird. No rules.
Yeah,
just gonna put that out there.
Be afraid.
He's still living a lawless life.
He's gonna use the words and do the things that I'm not allowed to. So, and I have no idea what it's gonna be. So I can't be blamed.
I ain't going back.
Yep, just cover your ears, zip your lip.
I ain't going back. I love that scene. All right, Ronnie. So, what's a change that came to mind when you thought about changes? What have you gone through that you want to share tonight?
Yeah, the first one that actually came to mind was after getting divorced. Like oddly enough, it wasn't the divorce itself or anything like that. The change was moving back into my house by myself. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think we've been through it a little bit, but the way it worked for us, I pretty much just gave everything away. I didn't want anything. I was just fine with everything going. So I moved back into my house, and I just moved into an empty house with almost nothing. I had a washer and dryer and a backup couch, and that's pretty much it. I think I had a TV, but it was a really crappy TV. And yeah, that was the biggest change that I've ever gone through in my life, because I think up until that point I didn't realize how much I hated to be completely alone.
Mm.
Yeah. I think that it's hard to describe to some people, because you don't imagine that you're going to be in that position ever again. And yeah, there's just a deafening silence, when you're by yourself, and it's different from, oh, nobody's home right now, I love this peace and quiet. It's a lot different than that, because there's not like an end in sight, if that makes sense.
It's a lot more permanent.
It is. Yeah. And Mark, you probably went through a lot of the same thing. It's it's a real adjustment to have to it's such a drastic change to coming home to just nothing. Like I didn't even have animals, or I didn't have my dogs or anything, so it was a real bizarre change to work through. I remember the thing that actually helped me out the most is I pretty much had music playing all the time. One of my first purchases was speakers that I put throughout the house and linked them all up together. So I could just play music, and I'd be walking into any part of my house and still music would be playing. Yeah. I used to even just leave the TV on just to prevent that.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I remember when I was going through all of that. Like, I went to this. It was kind of like a program that a church in the area was doing. It's called Divorce Care, and they take you basically through this process of going through everything, and helping you to cope with it, and it's from a biblical perspective. But one of the things that they talk about is that in terms of sort of the healing process is grieving your losses, and the breakdown of the marriage, of course, is like grieving a loss, but there's so many other little things that are kind of incorporated that you don't think about until they're not there anymore, that you have to kind of grieve, and you have to really process and move on from. And so it's all those changes that were difficult, negative changes, but ultimately they helped me to heal. So yeah, I totally get that.
Mine was just a little bit different in that, like, the grieving process itself can take place at different times.
Sure.
And I realized after the divorce that mine had already happened while I was married. I think I realized a long time ago that it was over, and kind of grieved and went through all that while I was still actually married.
Sure.
By the time I was married, I was just, I don't want to say over it because it sounds, kind of crummy, but, ready to move past it already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a bizarre thing that I wasn't anticipating.
Sure.
Even going through the whole divorce, you never think about the point where, all right, you're back in your own place and there's nothing and you're just by yourself. Like, you don't think about that. I had to go buy a bed like the first night, so just it's like I just bought a brand new house for the first time in my life and I had no furniture. Yeah. Except I was 30.
It's weird, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a bizarre change.
Yeah. I definitely went through something like that. Actually, at the end of college, I had dated Mindy, who's now my wife, but when she was my girlfriend, we dated through most of college. We didn't live together. We both had different dorms and different places. We lived on campus. We saw each other all the time. I lived in the freshman dorm with a bunch of guys that never let me grow up for 3 out of the 4 years that I was in college. But at the end of college, Mindy and I broke up. I went to live out on my own. And I remember that first 6 months, that first few months by myself, like, it was weird. Like, I was just there and I was going to work and I was doing ministry, but besides hanging out with the youth of the youth group, I was just hanging out by myself. So I totally connect, Ronnie, with that lonely feeling, that to go from, being around somebody or a bunch of somebodies, and then all of a sudden it's just you. And
it's bizarre to have almost like nothing on the horizon. That sounds like a negative way, and it's not necessarily negative. It's just all of a sudden, all right, what do I do now? Like, it's just up to me and that's it. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And with Mindy and I, actually, for like 9 months, 10 months, we didn't talk at all. And I was in the grieving process a little bit, and then trying to move on when we were broken up during that time. And then I tried to like finally deal with it and end the grieving process. I realized she had the key to my car, my extra key. And I was like, I want that back. And I have some of your stuff. Can we just meet up and exchange? We met up, and I mean, I made the mistake of inviting her to my place, and we met up. I made her like her favorite meal. I don't know why I was being so nice, but I just wanted to, make it.
You wanted her back?
Yeah, I get subconsciously, I guess I did, because at that moment,
sounds like that's exactly what you
I know, right? And at that time, like, I was just like, no, we're moving on. I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to make her favorite meal, and we're going to exchange the stuff and move on. And we talked for like hours upon hours. And by the end, we were like, God brought us back together. And it was just like, all right, well, let's go with it then. But that was not a change I was expecting in my life. But yeah, it's still, it was good for us to be alone. I think, sometimes God allows us to go through that time, and it,
I do think it was good for me. It was just outside of the element that I had become accustomed to. And honestly, that, like, what came out of it, all of my time, being without a significant other, was I focused on myself a lot. I mean, I worked out a lot. Like I just did a whole bunch of stuff, so it was awesome for me.
Yep.
Nice. Not as awesome as it is now. Like,
well, of course,
wrong opinion. Like this is way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a year and a half of being single, like it's about all I can handle.
Yeah, I'm glad for where I am now in terms of good change.
Yeah, we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Trade it up. For me, like the past 15, 16 years, like especially since being married, probably the most common change I've had is actually moving. Like whether it's because of ministry or because of family. I have moved at least, I want to say in the past 16 years, at least a dozen times. So it's close to that anyways. I can't remember the exact number. It's at least 10 times in the past 16 years. We always get to a new place and hope that it's going to stick, and then just life happens. Besides, and really associated with that, the next biggest change that's happened is living in another country.
Yeah.
I can't explain to you the challenges of living in another country. Like
I can't even imagine living on the east side of town.
I do live on the east side of town.
You guys are like foreigners talking to each other.
I need a passport to get over there.
A little more rural maybe here.
Got to get used to the bugs.
I literally can't imagine Lucas moving to a new country where all of a sudden English isn't even like the primary language. Like I can't imagine having to get over that. Like language barrier would be tough.
Yeah. And I would say in the first year of us being here back in 2012, it was hard on those of us who had never done it before. My wife grew up as a missionary kid. Her parents actually lived with us the first 3 years we were here. That actually helped a lot because they had a lot of experiences. They had a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom that they could share with us.
Live with you, and it's a good thing, right there.
Yeah, we needed them. Like
that's a rare scenario.
My father-in-law's a handyman. I was like, hey, you can do all the handy stuff. Just leave me out of it.
Dream come true for you.
Yeah.
No handyman stuff.
The change of stuff broken is like the worst thing for me. People are like, hey, watch something on YouTube. And I'm like, can I just like
buy a new thing?
Phone a friend? Yeah. Like buy a new thing, borrow a new thing until I can, get the money to buy a new thing. It's something I'm just not good at, and change I'm not good with. But like living in another country, dealing with the language barrier for me and my daughter was the hardest. My son was born here, so he's like half Brazilian, half American. Actually visiting the US for him is like visiting a foreign country, which is funny to think about. But for Natasha and I, like we went through really bad cultural, I'm blanking on what the word is, culture shock, not cultural shock, culture shock. Natasha was 2 at the time, and she went from being able to understand and speak, sentences and phrases to people that they would understand to not being able to talk to really anybody other than us. And she cried a lot. The first 6 months were really hard. That was a tough change. I'm thankful that we were all together, that we relied on each other. We relied on God. God was with us all the way. I mean, with all the difficult things and the things we faced, there were a lot of confirmations along the way too. And it was actually a church here in Brazil that not only helped us adjust, but they kind of showed us like what God and what his love and what, hospitality in church is all about. Like they loved us to the point where, man, like someone in our family would cough and they would like 5 minutes later say, hey, we made an appointment with the doctor for you. Just be there on Monday at 2:00 and they'll take care of you. And, the bill will be taken care of or whatever. Like this church, these people there were awesome. And I think that sometimes is the secret to change. Dealing with change is to not do it alone. Like connect with people, reach out to people, talk about the frustration. I've been reaching out to you guys. Like one of the things that has been difficult being in another country that I know in the US I would not deal with is this internet issue. Like why I'm talking to you guys through my cell phone tonight. Like this cell phone company has a monopoly on this part of the neighborhood where I live. So I have like no competition, nothing I can do. I can get mad, but I still need them in order to have internet. And customer service here is the worst.
That's just horrible business. Like, I don't understand how they're still in business.
Yeah.
There's nobody else.
There's nobody else here. It's like a closed, not a closed community. It is kind of a closed community, but it's an area of the neighbor, like it's an area of this part of the city where they just don't have any other companies have tried to reach out and like have their own whatever their wires or whatever they do to connect.
Somebody needs to snatch that up.
I know, right? Yep. But yeah, moving's been a big thing. Moving's been a big thing for a number of our joiners. Bernabe Elronchas Butters, he had this to say on Discord. He said, well, I have restarted my life 3 times already. Moved from the city to a university, moved back to the city for work, and then I moved to a different country for another job. He's originally from Mexico. And he said, I'm still not good with changes. Yeah, we're not all made to deal with changes. But yeah, so that's big stuff right there. Those are big changes going to university, going to the city for work, and then going to another country. Right there with you, Barnaby.
I think with like moving places, it's the moving to a different location. I don't think is the hardest part. I think it's moving away from the things you know and the people that know is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because you have to like start over like, all right, well, I got to get new local friends or local organization, get plugged into something else so I can start to meet people. But that's really hard when, especially if people have lived there their entire lives, they have already their local quote unquote, circle of friends and acquaintances and things like that. I think that would be the hardest for me. Like I could live anywhere, but if I move away from my family, that would be like, I think that's what would make me homesick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Actually, Elizabeth is originally from Dayton, which isn't obviously that far away from Cincinnati, like maybe a solid hour. But she actually moved like down here to Cincinnati for work, and an hour is pretty far distance, just to go like see somebody or whatever. So she actually joined like a couple of like, I guess they're not really clubs, but volleyball groups that were just like meeting and gathering and stuff. And that's how she like met a few like of the friends that she's like pretty close with today. And ultimately how she ended up meeting me. So thankful for that process.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Dealing with those changes of, being close or away from family has definitely been one of the hardest things that, like you guys mentioned, living in another country. I would say that's what's made us homesick or, at times wish that we could be back in the U.S. just because the proximity to family, especially with kids, is so important. I am appreciative of this past year. One of the positives from the negative of the pandemic and lockdown has been up until at least prior to the last 3 weeks when we haven't had internet, or consistent internet. My kids and I and sometimes Mindy, we've talked to a lot of our family in the U.S. like every Sunday for the past, I want to say past 6 months or so. And, whether it's been my parents, Mindy's parents, or, my grandma, an aunt or an uncle from time to time, it's been really awesome to just connect on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever. It doesn't take the place of course, in-person meeting, but when you're limited with, social distancing and all that, it's not actually that bad. You get really accustomed to it and you get to see and talk to them even when you're really far away. And so, that's kind of softened the blow of that change.
Yeah.
And I think with like the day and age we are in now and being able to communicate from far distances, like a lot of my friendships are like, it's a weird thing. Like they're online, like it's even before the pandemic, like through this podcast, through other podcasts, through video games, like I've developed a really good friendship. Like you guys, like Mark and Lucas, like you guys don't, I've met you guys, or Mark, I've met a couple times. And then Lucas, I've met you like once, but it's like, I consider you guys close friends, even though you guys are states away or countries away, continents away. And it's just like, what? And when you don't have internet and trying to connect with friends and family, like I can't even imagine how hard that is for that change.
Got to get out the old quill pen. Write it down.
I mean, like, do you do telegrams? Is that so?
My dearest Eleanor.
It's like, good morning, my brothers and sisters. Stop.
My dearest Gwendolyn.
Oh man, yeah, it's been rough, like not having the internet, and then on top of that, I can't remember if I mentioned a couple weeks ago where my screen broke on my phone.
Yeah,
that's still a thing, and so I've been siphoning everything through my MacBook, which has actually not been bad. But once I lost the internet, like it became unpredictable, and until I figured out where the good 4G was in our new house, I was struggling. Like I wasn't able to really talk to you guys consistently. You
have made it through a lot to be here tonight, sir.
Yes, that is so true. So very, very true. But it's been such it's I know it's going to be worth it in the end. Kind of like what you said, Patrick, like, you have to wait for the update to finish. We have to wait to like have everything unpacked. I talk about these nasty mosquitoes, but like for those of you that have seen pictures, how like just where we are, like it's picturesque. Like there's a lot of lush greenery, a huge yard for my kids to play in, hammock hooks all over my porch. We're going to be getting a fire pit
Nice.
from some friends
keep
that
those
don't want to use it.
mosquitoes away with that fire pit.
We're going to be burning them with fire. Speaking of burning with fire, Ronnie, we have had also second to in number to mosquitoes are spiders, and the electric racket also works with the spiders. So there have been times when I
think my plane tickets to Brazil are refundable. So
nope, they're not.
You
have to do it. No, but we're killing them now. So when you come visit, they won't be here.
Just hope they didn't have babies.
They all do.
They always have babies.
I'm
But
sure
They have like 3,000 of them every day.
They
never go
lie.
away.
That is
I don't know.
Just imagine that in a day.
I'm pretty sure that's the truth. They're
Well,
That's
time to
3
give birth.
million spider eyes looking back at you.
Yeah, but it's going to be worth it in the end. It's a place that we're crossing our fingers that we'll hopefully stay for the next few years and not have to move again. It's gonna be good.
All right, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I looked it up. Mosquitoes lay 100 eggs every 3 days.
Dang.
So you're
You know what you need to get is
I let them
bats.
sit in my dryer for like 2.5, 3 days.
How many female mosquitoes are there? Probably 1,000.
Did they have? Do you guys have bats in Brazil?
We've talked about this. I've already mentioned to my wife about this bat box, and
Yes.
I got the negatory from her.
Oh,
She is
man.
she's not down for that. I was like, come on, we'll put the bat box really high up in the air. I think I could start a business because when we walked around. So on Sunday we had a semi-normal day out of the week we've been here. Yeah. So we went on a walk on Sunday after having a nice, a morning together. We did church at home together, had communion together as a family, had lunch, took a nap in the afternoon, and then went on a walk. And every other house we went by, people had the electric rackets while they're out on their porches, like just swatting at the mosquitoes, like over their head,
This is a
wave
business
around.
opportunity.
Da, da, da. So I'm like, if I can start a bat box business where I sell people these bat boxes or whatever, these bat houses, we could make a killing.
Man, what if there's too many mosquitoes though? Is the bat just going to eat himself to where he can't even get in the box anymore?
They're not going to fit.
Because that could be an issue.
Bunch of fat bats.
They can't even fly anymore. They're just lying out there in the yard.
That would be
not
a
today.
challenge. Yeah.
I actually
I
I'm curious as to how I know they can eat like thousands of mosquitoes like a night. It's some ridiculous thing. But I want to know, like, first of all, I was actually going to move this year also, but I did not because the housing market is crazy. But I wanted to see what it was like without the bat, and then when we get the bat, because Elizabeth's down for this, so why would I not do it?
Yeah,
But
gotta do
I
it.
want to see the difference if it makes like a noticeable difference. Like 1,000 mosquitoes is a lot, and I'd like to think that if they know that a bat is in the area, maybe they're smart enough to not be in the area.
No, they're pretty stupid. They just keep coming.
You said you got those smart ones, though. I mean,
Oh, the smart ones, thankfully, I mean, for one, they're like, so if the mosquitoes that are normally around are like a pinky, these these black smart mosquitoes are like a big toe. Like they're
gosh.
like swooping down and picking up your elbow, like
I'm
to
not.
suck on it.
I'm not about that life.
No, thank you.
Thankfully,
As soon as
there's a
I
lot
feel a
less
bite,
of
I
them,
just
though.
start running. Like I'm out of there.
There's a lot less of them though. So there's at least that. You can see them coming.
Smart
They're really big.
mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Genetically engineered. They have like huge biceps and stuff.
They're aggressive.
They can just take you with them whenever they want.
Yeah, they're nasty. Yeah. So before I forget, I do not want to leave out. We have 2 more Discord changes that wanted to be mentioned. Haas from the Discord said, "So I moved around a bit for work, changed positions at work several times, and all sorts of stuff like that. None of it compares to the change my household went through when we decided to be foster parents. At the time, my kids were 10 and 12. As a family, we decided it would be great to use the resources God bless us with to try and help families change their lives. We weren't fostering to adopt. We thought that we would be able to keep some kids for a little while, help their families get straightened out, and send the kid home to live happily ever after. Naive would be too kind of a word to use to describe us in that moment. Foster care wound up being the most difficult, terrifying, faith-challenging thing I've ever been through. We were thrown into situations that were anything but sunshine and rainbows, and were taught the very difficult lesson that some people can only be helped by the Holy Spirit, but will never accept it. Now for the privacy of my 2 youngest daughters, and because it is their story to tell, I won't go into any hairy details, but the raw emotion from fear to heartbreak right on to joy that this experience gave me is something we'll never be able to accurately describe. Despite all those things, it was one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. Gave me the rest of my children, of whom I have no idea how I lived so long without." Wow.
That's awesome.
Stuff.
That is, I think that's one of the greatest sacrifices to be a foster parent and like do
I
it.
agree.
Obviously to do it well. I know, I mean, coming from West Virginia, I ran into a few foster families that were doing it for some of the kickbacks, which was not a good thing. But for those who would do it to open their home to kids that are just, they got dealt bad cards and to just love them, it's beautiful, even though it is really hard. I have family that does fostering, and props to you, Haas, and any others out there who do fostering or adopting for that matter.
Shout outs. For sure.
No doubt. The last joiner, you done messed up. What is it? Aaron? Was that too many A's?
Aaron.
Aaron. I always want to do 3 Aarons. Sorry.
Sorry, you were
Aaron.
just buffering.
Sorry, yeah. Yep. Break. Yep. He said, "Well, without boring everyone with the depressing details, when I was 17 or 18, which was my sophomore year in college, and that's another long story, LOL, I made the decision to leave my father and stepmother's home. I asked my aunt if I could move in with her and my grandmother in Columbia, Maryland, and have been there ever since. The pros, I think I'm much healthier now than I would have been if I had stayed. The cons, this area of Maryland is stupid with all capital letters, expensive. So I haven't, at first I was like, say everyone was stupid. It's stupid, expensive.
Stupid.
Just to be clear. So I haven't been able to afford to leave and get my own place to quite yet. If and when I do, I'd like to stay somewhere around here though, as I really like the area and it would keep me close to my family." Yep. I understand that.
That is a big change.
That's part of the reason we've moved a lot is how expensive it gets. Like in Brazil, I don't know if I've mentioned, but there's some people who can kind of raise the rent every year and they have like a max they can raise it. And after a couple years, that gets a little out of hand. People are like, you know what? We're going to max you with the rent. And we're like, you know what? We're going to leave. And so I have high hopes for this current landlord that we have because he's like, I like to keep my tenants for a long time. So I want to keep you happy. And I hope down the road that means he's not going to raise the rent an arm and a leg. So far, he's proven to be a great host and a great help in everything. Like he's really been helping me out a lot over this first week. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Anything else? Any honorable mentions for changes that you guys want to throw out there?
Man. I mean, some things are good change. I mean, like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good change.
Like a new car, like those are just like
that's a fun change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that new car smell, it's so nice.
I can't. And getting like
I can't do that.
All the new stuff, like new shoes, like the new shoe smell. Oof.
Yeah. I think everything smells good when it's new.
Yeah, I can't do new car smell.
Most stuff.
Nope. It literally makes me sick.
So you're around cars a lot? Is that before before that happened, or is it just since you've been working at the dealership that you don't like the new car smell?
Before that happened.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Thankfully, I don't have to be in the new car for too long.
Oh man, that's if you don't like that smell, that's got to be like.
Well, and thankfully, I've changed positions at my job, so I don't have to do that as often. But although the Jeeps and the Rams aren't too bad in terms of new car smell, but if I'm hanging around in there for a while, it starts to get to me.
I didn't know that there were different levels of new car smell. I thought they were all the same.
I mean, it smells different.
I mean, if you're around it enough, then you can probably, I don't know, just
be desensitized to it. I don't know, but
right, yeah.
But no, usually if I'm in there for like a long period of time, like I can't handle that.
It might be based largely on the dealership though. Also, I mean, I know like the dealership that I used to work at would actually like, even though we just gotten the new cars, like they would still have us put like scented, whatever, in them. So I don't know.
It's possible.
Is there any such thing as like a new house smell? How's that new house smell for you, Lucas?
I feel like houses do smell different, but it's not. And every house isn't the same.
I have to say that the new house actually it has I don't know, a very
smells like a mosquito.
Feeling. No,
mosquito.
You know what? I kind of touched on this before, but like the mosquitoes have their areas where they hang out. Like they hang out a lot in the laundry area and the grilling
They're hanging
area.
out. I could just imagine they're like
sitting
there with like
just hang out
drinks
there.
and like a.
I'm imagining the bugs from Men in Black.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, and then I come in with the racket. I'm like zap zap, kill them all.
I'm imagining like the big bug, the big cockroach is in Beetlejuice, just sitting there on the recliner.
But they don't hang out in our house a lot. Like a few get in, we kill them, and that's it. Like I will say,
all right, guys, the party's over. Out, everyone out.
Yeah, everyone out.
New people here.
I will say one of the smart ones got into the kitchen today, and it took both my wife and I to kill it. Like it was attacking me, I was like,
what
was doing that finger.
What was it doing in the kitchen? Just like making itself a PB.
It was trying to make itself
it helped itself
into
the
margarita. It was like trying to make itself a mixed drink. I'm like, what are you doing, man? This isn't that kind of house. Get out of here. And it had definitely attacked me, and I had to do that thing because Mindy had the racket, the electric racket, and so I'm like trying to point where it is, but without not getting in the path of the racket, so I get electrocuted.
Now, do your kids use the racket too?
Yeah, sometimes I keep a good distance from them. No, not yet.
Oh,
I'm surprised.
Aren't you curious though? Like I don't know if I'd be.
Once you kill enough stuff, you're not really that curious. Like
because it doesn't mean it seems that aggressive.
It explodes them, like it pops sounds. Like it's awesome. It's very satisfying. Like it's just like pop, pop, pop.
I don't know. If you give that racket to the kids, I think the probability of them touching it goes exponentially higher.
It does. They're gonna touch it one of these days. They're gonna get bored. They're gonna be like, the front yard. Who cares? It's boring.
Tasha is going to dare James, and he's gonna do it.
Yeah, with his tongue. He'll be like, touch it with your tongue, James. I dare you.
I watched a video today. It was like this stupid compilation video on YouTube, and one of the things was, dude had like one of those rackets, and he's like, "Yeah, man, this is so cool." And all of a sudden, his dog dive bombs into it.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, no!
and the video just stops right there, and you're left like, "Oh
what
no!
happened?"
I don't need to see the end of this.
No,
nope, they cut it off the right time.
Not at all. You know what also has a nice new smell is a new couch. We actually invested for the first time in our marriage in a new brand spanking new couch.
Oh, nice.
And it's got like pull out cushions. Like instead of recliner, it just pulls right out. Like, and you can just stretch out.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I like our couch. It has plugs and USB ports built into it. Yep. And it's a recliner.
Does it have a fridge in it?
No, that was a little bit more expensive.
See, I want one of those like lounge chairs where it has like a fridge on the side, or like you lift up the arm of the chair and there's like a fridge in there.
Gotta be crappy fridges though.
I know, but it's like all I need is like just a few cans of something in there, and then just I'll have to get up.
A few cans of something.
Snack or two.
Snacks on the other arm of the chair.
Get like a chocolate bar in there, frozen.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, just grab some of those marshmallows and graham crackers. You can have a s'more over at Lucas's fire.
This is a little bit off topic, but do you guys eat chocolate cold? Would you prefer it? Like if I get a candy bar, like I would rather it have been in the refrigerator.
If it's dark chocolate, yes. I like
not milk chocolate though.
Nah, I think the dark chocolate just tastes better cold to me.
I wouldn't mind it a little cold, but
you don't want it. You don't want it melted ever.
Yeah, I don't want it melted at all. Especially at like, I'm a Reese's fan. Yeah, I don't want those melted.
That's all over your face.
Oh, those cold though with a glass of milk, like that's heaven.
I'm all about the extremes. Like I don't want to get like gooey chocolate on my fingers, so I like it cold. But when it's in my mouth, I want it to melt and be all gooey and such.
Melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
That's right. Yep. That's exactly right. M&M's, baby.
They do melt in your hand though.
They do.
I know.
They changed them over
Liars.
the years.
I thought for the longest time I just had like sweaty, grosser hands than most people. No, turns out I do not. That happens.
Everyone.
Advertising.
It's everyone. But yeah, change is change, and I think overall I like change, and so I look forward to giving you guys the update of the good changes of the house and not the mosquitoes. I feel like I get enough tiki torches and just cover the house in them and just have fire available at all times. We'll be good.
I'm going to need once you get internet, I'm going to need a live feed of you giving a tour of your house. Because you did it last time.
I will.
And we need a new one.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna take you guys to the laundry area and show you the wonders of killing 100 mosquitoes.
I need to see this racket in real time.
I honestly do want to see you battle a mosquito during this tour.
Yeah, man.
Dude, that thing works.
That reminds me, like, completely unrelated topic, and I'll.
I think that we're like half improv right now, so keep going.
Yeah.
So completely unrelated topic. There is a Twitch channel that's literally called Stop Sign Cam, and it's a 24-hour. Well, I don't know if it's 24 hours, but a pretty much constant stream of this random intersection somewhere. I don't know where. I think it's like in New Jersey or something like that. I don't know. Where it's focused in on this intersection with a stop sign, and people are paying attention, trying to count how many times people actually come to a full stop at this stop.
Gotta be a rare.
Yeah, people just kind of coast through it.
Oh, it's even worse in Brazil.
Yeah.
Stop signs are
it's more of a guideline than a rule.
It's a decoration. It's just like, oh, look at that decorative red sign they put there. It says stop. That's nice. No cars are coming. Keep going.
But
Wait, moving,
does it say stop, or is it in like Portuguese?
Oh, it says stop. I mean, it's no.
They're like, I don't speak English.
Yeah, stoppy. What's that mean? No, it says it in Portuguese. It would look like pare to you, Pare, potty. But yeah, when there have been people in front of me that have stopped at a stop sign, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Go.
What are you doing?
There's no cars. You don't need to stop. It's optional. It's like real bad when I visit the U.S. It's real bad. Yeah. All right.
Just wanted to mention that. But anyway.
Yep. Thanks for that. I'm gonna put like a mosquito cam in the laundry room so you guys can see them hanging out.
Yes.
And then, like, a couple times a day, you just see me come in wildly swinging the racket.
I would love just to tune in at any time during the day. Just be like, wonder what Lucas is up to.
All right, here we are. We found a live mosquito. They'd be like the crocodile hunter, except for with mosquitoes.
That day that I discovered those mosquitoes in my washing machine, I was Reaper from Overwatch, and I was just like, die, like spinning around with the racket, just killing them.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. All right. Well, as we chug out of the change station, how about we pull into the next station with some last minute housekeeping, where we just offer pillows, fluff them. We offer the towels. We fluff the pillows. Andy's candies that have been frozen in the fridge, of course.
How about that?
With a glass of milk, and then, of course, tip you off to the GMG news you need to know. Marc, of course, in May is streaming them Battle Royale games every Tuesday and Saturday. So check him out. Join him if you'd like. See if you can help him get a win or maybe beat him in a match. It'll be epic. I still don't have internet, so I am not streaming, but I am maybe going to when I get the internet back. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
Hope so.
Besides that, of course, the first Thursday of every month is supposed to be game night with Jackbox. Unless one of these guys has Jackbox, we will not be doing that. We may or may not have a game night, so it's going to be a surprise for all y'all out there. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Stitcher, of course. We would much appreciate that. You can also connect with us on Discord and Twitter. And you can also even call us at 929GMG Guys. All the links and info are in the show notes, so you can check it out there. The last thing we have, of course, as we lead up to our GMG MAFT 100 list, we're going to talk about our favorite movies. But before we do, I think Marc has something to share with us.
I sure do. Yeah, this week in movie history, few movie premieres here. 1958, the movie Dracula with Christopher Lee in the title role of Dracula. If you don't know who Christopher Lee is, he was Saruman in Lord of the Rings, as well as Count Dooku in the Star Wars films. He also is a heavy metal enthusiast. You should Google
Really?
Christopher Lee heavy metal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really
I'd have
good.
guessed that.
It's incredible. It is incredible. But yeah, he had a Dracula movie come out May 8th, 1958. So quite a while ago. This week also May 3rd, 2002, the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire debuted. And finally, May 7th, 1997, The Fifth Element premiered with Bruce Willis. And I believe Chris Tucker's in the movie.
And Mila
Jovovich, yep. And
The old monster hunter herself.
Yep, and I want to say Gary Oldman's in that movie too, I believe. But birthdays this week. Ronnie, you'll like this. Yesterday, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. This was his birthday.
Hey-o.
Also this week, Patrick, Henry Cavill. His birthday's this week.
Nice.
As well as the dashing George Clooney.
Oh, I'll take that one. Thanks. He's
George
my
Clooney
favorite.
has the best gif out there where he's just like hiding behind,
Peeking out.
peeking. Or when he turns around and he just like opens his eyes like, huh?
Yep.
I love those two gifs.
But that's it for this week in movie history.
Sweet. All right. Fellas, did you guys do movies last week?
We
I
did
listened,
not.
but
I
I
waited
did not.
for you.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, look at you waiting for me. That's so sweet.
Yeah, last week was improv.
so
There were no
nice.
rules.
Oh, that's right.
We weren't going to do
who-
that.
Yeah, that's good call. Good call.
Mhm.
All right, Ronnie, let's lead out with you. What do you got for us tonight? Two movies to add to the list.
Got two.
Yep.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
There you go. All right.
I watched one of them
Sequels.
today. They're fantastic, man. Everything about them is hilarious.
Yeah, they're classics.
They got a release date
sure.
for Guardians 3 now.
Do they?
Saw that.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
got a release date for a bunch of movies.
Sure did. Including Black Panther 2, Black Panther Wakanda,
Wakanda
Forever.
Forever.
Yep.
Yes. The
Can
Marvels.
you, I can't read that without saying Wakanda Forever. Like I can't.
Ever?
I can't just do Wakanda Forever.
They should have made it
Forever.
the number 4 EVA. Forever.
Exactly. Forever. That'd have been awesome.
Speaking of forever, The Sandlot.
Dang it! That was
Ooh.
one of my two.
Sorry, Mark.
Ooh, beat you
Man,
to it.
I have been in like this whole MLB The Show thing this past
Now I'm
week.
scrambling.
There's still like 15 more Marvel movies that are probably going to be on the list. You can just pick one.
That's true.
So The Sandlot, and I'm gonna go with The Rookie.
All right, going with the
Dennis
baseball
Quaid.
theme. Yeah,
Mhm.
nice. I thought you were going to say Rookie of the Year.
Ah, man, that's also
Did
super
he say
good.
funky butt loving? Nice.
Well, while
Mark, you want me to go?
Yes,
Mark,
keep going, please.
while Mark scrambles, Lucas.
All right, I'm gonna go with Ronnie's sequel deal, and I'm gonna do Toy Story 3 and 4.
Ooh.
Going for the final two. Even though I heard somewhere that Toy Story 5 is in the works. Is that true? Can anyone
I
confirm or
haven't heard
deny?
anything about it, but yeah, I mean, Toy Story 3 was just magical, and it's
man.
crazy. Like, I didn't watch it until like I think it was last year, and yeah,
man.
that was one of my top movies. I was gonna pick that eventually, but
Nice.
I wanted to leave that because I knew you'd probably pick it, and I did not think Mark would pick Sandlot. So I'm so sorry,
Surprise.
Mark. That's funny. It must be a good movie if we're both going to pick it the same week.
It is quite a
It's
good
definitely
movie.
a good movie. Yep.
Okay, so I do not see it on the list, so I am going to add Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Oh,
Yes,
Wondrous
Civil
choice.
War is on
Yeah.
the list, but the Winter Soldier.
And my second is, I know the first one's on there already, but Back to the Future Part 2.
Yep. It's a good one.
It's really good. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good.
Hydrate level 4, please.
Fruit, please.
I don't think
Nice.
anybody's actually put any Star Wars information on there or any Star Wars movies yet. Have they?
Empire's
Did
on
Rise
there.
of Skywalker.
Yeah, Empire's on there.
I got you.
Yeah.
At least I think it is.
That was just a feeler for next week for
Yep.
me.
Empire's on
Oh,
there.
yeah.
There you go.
Alrighty then. Pat, Mark, and you, Ronnie J, looking at you right there. I know you can't see me looking at you, but I'm looking at you.
Yeah, feels weird.
Yep.
Don't you feel creeped
Along
out?
with you.
Normally, got to
Along
pay
with
extra
you.
for that.
And you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. I'm looking at you too. Go get your good morning this week. And may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.